Welcome, denizens of the internet. We are Grin and Barrett.
I'm Macy, and I'm drinking water in a skull cup.
I'm Knuckles, and I'm drinking Arizona green tea with ginseng and honey.
Oh. I'm Iris, and I'm drinking sake out of a wine glass.
Because you're clappy.
I am.
I'm Alice, and I'm drinking my old standby, a Midori Sour in a spiderweb glass.
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's like an evil Disney color, is the green.
Mm-hmm. So, I think Knuckles kind of gave it away a little bit, but today we're going to discuss about Disney and how it has shaped us. So I think we talked about our favorite characters, animation characters, but I think now we were just going to focus on Disney.
Yeah.
And just animation, or is it, we're doing everything, right?
I think everything.
All of its properties.
I was going to say, we're also doing all its properties. That's why I'm decked out in Star Wars. And this is from a local artist. You need to go check her out. Her name is Megan Davis, and she is our friend. And she made this. It's BB-8, and it looks really cute.
We could probably put her link down below.
Yeah. Tag her.
Yeah, she was talking about her Twitter account, so we can link to her Twitter.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Do that down below.
And I have a tiny Millennium Falcon. I love it so much.
So cute.
I'm obsessed with this dress, and I forgot I owned it.
So since you're sporting your jewelry, I'm going to show mine. A friend made me a little Mickey Mouse ears with roses because my favorite Disney movie is Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah.
And I have a tattoo. I'll just take a picture of it, and we can just kind of throw it in the video of my tattoo, which is the Enchanted Rose.
Probably been Beauty and the Beast, but I definitely fast-forwarded through anything that was slow-paced. So, like, the Beauty and the Beast song, shoop, right on through that. Or anything that was awkward. So, I also, when there was, like, any sort of misunderstanding, I would fast-forward through that. So, it was either that or Hunchback of Notre Dame, because there wasn't too much awkward in that. But, as an adult, oh man, it's hard to say what my favorite Disney movie would be. I still am a giant fan of Hunchback, honestly. If we're not counting Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah.
Just the movies.
Animation, I think. Just animation.
But yeah, as far as like favorite movies, I mean, right now I've watched to like 500, but I think that's just a fun movie. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hunchback still. It's got a special place in my heart.
So I kind of have two because Belle's my favorite character, but my favorite Disney movie as a child, as a little kid, would be Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, okay.
That's cute.
Because I think that was the one when it was re-released. It was re-released back on VHS, like back in the 80s, like probably in the 90s. And I remember we bought that, and I would watch that every morning before I go to school.
Oh.
Like I watched like 20 minutes of it, and I would just watch the beginning because I love seeing the puppy run down the stairs.
Oh god, that's so cute.
So yeah, so it's that one, and I guess my favorite Disney movie, believe it or not, is Frozen 2. A lot of people don't like the sequel, which I didn't know this.
You're wrong. It's a good movie.
There's some plot holes, and I'm not going to say I didn't watch the making of it, and that it didn't make me realize that, yeah, they should have probably had a script before they started making the movie, which probably would have helped a lot, but I kind of felt the whole plot was the Fifth Element from the movie Fifth Element, so I identified a lot, and I liked Lulu, so I was like, okay, that's fine, Elsa's the Fifth Element, I'm cool with that. So, and I love the music, and also it helped me during, I watched it, like, vividly, like, repeatedly, like, once a week during COVID, because that's when I think it had hit Disney, like, Disney Plus right during COVID.
Yep.
And then I had a friend who passed away, and it really helped me get over their death. So that's what resonated with me doing The Next Right Thing, that song. So, Anna's song. So, and if we're going to, and so that's Disney, but if we're going to jump into Pixar, then it would be Onward. But there you go.
Growing up, my absolute favorite movie was The Lion King, and Pocahontas was a close second because I wanted to be Pocahontas because I love animals. I kind of identified with like Belle because she had brown hair, and I had brown hair. Literally, that's the only reason. I liked Beauty and the Beast, but it wasn't my favorite. So like growing up, it was Lion King. Lion King is still my favorite Disney movie. I think, yeah, we're gonna go with Lion King. But as an adult, I love Princess and the Frog. I love Tiana so much. She's my favorite. She's my favorite princess. She's like one of my favorite characters in the entire lexicon of Disney. And that was one same kind of idea with AC during the pandemic when everything was shut down. We live in New Orleans, so watching it made me really sad, but also like and really nostalgic because I was like, I can't go get beignets right now. You know what I mean? Like it was, but it reminded me of all the things to look forward to when eventually we would be able to go back. So Tiana is definitely my favorite princess. And I think Lion King's still my favorite movie, but I love the Frozen movies. And then if we do Pixar, Up is my favorite Pixar movie of all time, and one of my favorite movies because it makes me cry violently and then laugh violently. Like I freaking love that movie. God, it's so. And then in the recent croppings of movies, I loved Turning Red. Was it
I haven't watched that yet.
That's Pixar, right?
I think it's Pixar.
Pixar
it
is Disney now, though.
Okay, it's Turning Red, right?
Turning Red.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right.
We knew what you meant, but well, no, I know that
Okay,
Pixar is Disney,
good.
but I was like, we're talking about the animations. That's why I was clarifying.
Yeah, but yeah, like I hot take, but I loved. I keep saying it's Turning Red, right? It's not Seeing Red.
It's
I can't
Turning
remember.
Red.
Okay, I don't know why I
Turning
keep
Red.
getting it. I mean, it's kind of a hot take, but I liked it better than Encanto. I loved Encanto, but I love Turning Red.
I mean, I had all the merch for The Little Mermaid, and I know I watched it quite a bit, but I think that was my parents' favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Beauty and the Beast, but I think mostly I just wanted the library.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're counting what is now Disney, Anastasia was definitely my favorite. Like, I sang all the songs. Like, I wore out the VHS on, like, the one where she's dancing in the empty palace. So, I mean, absolutely adored that one. And then I identify more with Snow White because I'm ghastly pale, I have dark, dark hair, and everything tries to kill me. Because I watched the Disney version, but I also had a live action version that was like made in the 80s where it has all three ways that the queen tried to kill her, not just the poison apple. Where it crushed her ribs and she had a poison comb.
Yep.
And then technically I still saw it when I was little, but the film I enjoy most as an adult is Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, I love Lilo and Stitch. It's such a good movie.
That's just a good movie in general.
Well, especially like the family dynamic of like Nani trying to take care of her sister after their parents passed away. Nani actually reminds me a lot of my oldest sister. They have very similar body shapes, but also like just the way she acts towards Lilo. Just Nani always reminded me of my sister. Which I actually mentioned that to her recently, and she thought that was kind of interesting. Because my mom bought us all Stitch t-shirts where it says Ohana.
That opening scene where Lilu is like on the floor listening to the records, and you just see the door with the nail, and you're just like, and her sister's yelling at her, and she's just singing with the music, like, I hate my life, you know? I was like, oh my God, I can so relate. Like, even though I didn't lose my parents, but I'm just like, we've all been that kid who's just had a bad day and would come home and she just wanted to listen to Elvis records without being interrupted.
and feeding Pudge the fish and having the huge argument about the peanut butter. She's like, I'm late because I had to go to the store because all we had was steak and tuna. And the sequels are good too. Like, I really like the sequels and the TV show. Like, the TV show came on when I was like in my later teens, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like all the cousins because he's experiment 626.
Right.
So you get the other first 625. 625. I love Ruben because like he has all the same power set as Stitch. He's just as powerful as Stitch, but he's lazy and all he wants to do is make sandwiches. I like that it's all watchable. Like, I mean, they vary in quality, but for the most part, they are solid.
When I proposed this topic, the reason is that Disney's values, like Little Mermaid and Cinderella and Snow White, it was all about happily ever after and finding your mate or your one. And it's like slowly as we grew up, Disney's changed. As we grew up, they realized, oh, not everybody, you don't need a happy ever after, and so the movies changed. And like you had like Brother Bear is a positive movie on masculinity. I feel that because I didn't know, I watched it and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And it was just how a male ends up having to raise he gets turned into a bear because he's an idiot, and and bear means love, and so he has to figure out, and then he ends up having to take care of a young bear cub, and then at the end of the movie, spoilers, he decides that he gets turned back human, but he's like, the best thing for me to be is turn back into a bear so I can take care of this young bear cub.
A similar message to Brother Bear where he decided to stay a bear. So that's kind of what happened in Princess and the Frog, except that they decided they would stay. They were happy. They were like, you know what? We're frogs now. We're in love. We'll stay together and be frogs. And then, of course, it was a happily ever after. But but like it was kind of a similar thing where it's like, oh, well, we've accepted ourselves. We've accepted our love for each other. We're just gonna stay like this. This is fine, and they would have been just fine.
Interesting thing about Princess and the Frog. So a lot of Disney movies, especially like the princess movies, the ones that were fed to girls, were about, you have this traumatic thing that happens to you. You, especially the early ones, man, you have this traumatic thing that happens to you. You do some stuff, magic happens. You get married to a prince, and you live your happily ever after.
Yeah. With
Princess and the Frog, it still does have a romance. Tiana is not looking for love. Tiana's got her own thing going on, and Tiana does get a prince in the end, but the prince is not taking her off and carrying off into a castle. No, she is carrying him off into a life of work and fulfillment, and she does not have to give up on her dream of owning the business. They work together and make it work. So it's like a totally like more realistic way of realistically living a happy ever after with someone. You don't just get married and then magically life is better. No, they had to work for it.
Yeah, I just want to say that her best friend Charlotte is awesome. I don't know which one of you guys, but one of y'all shared something. This is the best friend ever because she doesn't get upset. Like, yeah, she wanted to marry the prince, but then she's like, well, no, what do you need? You're really in love with him? Okay, let's do you.
That's nice.
What the best friend should do.
Well, and like she's the only princess that actually has like a legitimate best friend, like not a sidekick. Like they're equals in the friendship. And heavens to Betsy, her friend had her covered because like the dress that she wears, that's not her friend's size. She had that on hand at her house, ready.
She probably had that saved. She's been wanting to get her in that dress for years, and she was trying to talk her into it.
Have we noticed that our happy endings for Disney are exclusively hetero?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Even in Star Wars, can you think of a Star Wars character that's gay? I know they exist, but you got
not openly. Not openly.
It's a wink and a nod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you're talking about lesbian and gay, but back to Princess and the Frog. She was the first African American princess. And that was like what? When was that? What year was
2009.
Like
I remember.
yeah.
Why didn't this happen sooner? Like, I go back, like we're still late with gay characters, but yeah.
We literally just got the first Black female Supreme Court justice.
We talked about before in this episode about how we like Belle just because she's brunette. Can you imagine? Like, you don't even have your race represented, let alone your hair color. Like, what?
You didn't even have African American characters.
Right.
Like,
Nothing.
they just weren't there for fucking years.
Black people don't exist, you guys. You guys don't know that.
If they were there, they were made fun of.
Right. Made fun of or caricatures.
I mean, representation is important
Animals.
to all
Yes.
groups, and
Of course.
it's always the cis white characters that get the spotlight. Because like
Mm.
I have like a core memory of an episode of Wishbone where they show that the character Sam has an allergic reaction. I'm like, I'm not alone. That happens to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was so ecstatic because like I thought I was so alone in that because no one else I knew had allergies, and so to see a character going through it and like her friends are upset that they hurt her and they're just like, you know, it helped a lot.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It really isn't.
There are beautiful stories of different cultures. Disney likes to steal stories that are public use. There are beautiful stories from all cultures that Disney could use to make pretty princess stories or whatever. Do it some more.
I mean,
Get you a
changing
man
value.
with money.
Princesses are getting older.
Yeah.
They are.
Because, like, Snow White,
Thank
14,
goodness. Oh my
Ariel,
gosh.
14. I mean, most of the earlier films, they're, like, somewhere between
I thought-
12 and 16.
I thought Ariel was 16.
No,
16.
I think she is.
Yeah,
16.
because she
maybe
goes,
16.
because she's like, I'm
I know
16,
Snow White's
Dad. I'm
14.
not a child. Yeah,
She's
you're right. Snow White is very young. And like, well, Pocahontas, she appears to be like 19 or like at least 18, but the actual Pocahontas was 12, right? She was very young. Yeah.
Disgusting.
But
As a kid that loved Pocahontas, I think that was the first movie I saw in theaters. As an adult, I was like, that was a real person. And then I was like, you know, getting older, you're like, you know, the older you get, you're like, this was really problematic. Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, they based it off of, what's his face's account of events.
oh, John Smith, what a
Yeah.
goat.
Disgusting.
Which of course is
What a
like, oh
joke.
yeah, this hot native, she was totally into me.
It's like millennials grew up and got jobs at Disney, and now we're making stories about our parents apologizing to us for causing us trauma. And I was like, oh my god, it's true.
Well, yeah, with the latest Encanto.
Encanto, turning red as well.
Yeah, so the best one is Frozen, which is the scene where you have that song between Anna and what's the first boy she meets?
Hans.
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 Yeah.
And they
Oh,
spend
yeah.
like 10 minutes singing, and you think an hour or 3 hours have passed or whatever, and they come back and it's like, wait, we wanted to tell you we're getting married. What do you mean you're getting married in an hour?
Yeah, it's just like you just met him. You can't marry somebody you just met, and it's like that's different. Ooh, let's talk about like Kristoff is a good example of a not toxic man.
Oh,
like
I
he's a
want to
really good
talk about my
example.
favorite lines for him from two. So there's two of them, and there's one where Anna, because all us girls feel we have to apologize, and because she had disappeared on him in two, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I had to, and he goes, my love is not that fragile, you know. And then there was one right before that where she's in need, she's running, and he comes to save her, and instead of saying, I'm a big man, I'll save you, he goes, I'm here, what you need? And I was just like, that's why these movies, why 2 is my favorite, because Kristoff is so good. He's just so good. And he gets an 80s ballad with reindeer. I mean, come on.
God.
Like,
The 80s
like,
ballad
him
is
singing-
so funny.
I mean, him singing in a pine cone is hilarious.
And you know what? Let's talk about his song too, because his song, the things he was saying in that song were very respectful. He's like, you know, he respects her choices. He's like, I know it sucks that she, you know, she left without telling me, but I understand that that's her journey. I just hope I still fit into her life. And like, that's amazing. Also, I'd like to point out, he was raised by trolls, and that's why he's a good man. He's a manic pixie dream boy.
Yeah.
He is. That's all we want. All we want is a big buff lumberjack ice picking man with an
They've been dating for at least 3 years when we come to 2. It has at least been 2 or 3 years. So they've had a nice long dating for it to be appropriate of when you propose.
Yeah, you're right. And like, that's kind of the first they've ever done that.
That's one of my favorite. I just love that. I love that sequel because I just think there's a lot of good lines in it.
Him in particular, I'm trying to think of some other Disney guys that were pretty much like not very problematic. I mean,
What
like,
about
it's interesting.
Tangled?
Was that?
What about Tangled? Isn't there some positive in that?
Oh, Flynn Rider.
Flynn is just
he's a
super-
smolder. He's so silly.
So no, he's not very
No,
positive.
he's okay. He's fine. I mean, like,
He's great.
I like, cause like, Naveen, Prince Naveen in Princess of the Frog, Flynn, Rider. Like, I like the newer Disney guys that kind of go through a transformation, and become better people. You know what I mean?
Both of those sucked at the beginning, and then as they learn, although I don't like that it's like, oh, a woman can change you into being a better person, because they both sucked at the beginning. Like,
and they're both adults and should have known better.
I have one. David from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh,
David was great the whole
David's
time.
amazing.
Yeah, he is really good.
Like,
Very respectful, very sweet.
I mean, he does keep asking Nani out, but he also understands that, like, her problem with dating him is not him. It's that she has so much to deal with, you know, caring for her sister that she doesn't feel like she has time to devote to what she wants. And so,
I feel like they do get together, don't they?
they do, eventually. But he, like, throughout the movie, like, he's helping her relax, he's helping watch the kid, he's helping her find a job, he's doing everything he can to make her life easier, and not expecting a date in return, but, like, keeps to, like, hey, you know...
I would like one.
I appreciate that too, because he's doing those things for her. He likes her, yes, but he's doing those things because it makes her life better and easier. And he does it because he loves
Yeah, he's
her.
not doing it transactionally.
Right. It's not a trend. And like a lot of, I know we kind of are off on another misogynistic tangent, but a lot of guys don't realize that, like, maybe they don't mean to, or they don't know the connotations of their actions, but a lot of guys do stuff just transactionally. That's why it's like, you know, the whole idea of a friend zone and all that stuff. It's like, you know, that it doesn't exist. Like, you're just a friend. You can be a friend with a woman if you're a man. Like, it happens all the time. Like, just, you know what I mean? But that's all about clear communication too, though. You know? Like,
Well, with the friend zone thing, like, why do you expect just because you talk to a woman and are nice to her that you're going to get anywhere romantically with her? Like, if that's what you want, be clear from the beginning and say, hey, you know, like, and don't just kind of like weasel your way into a friendship role and then expect some sort of sex to fall out of the sky into your lap. That's not going to work out. Just be clear on what you want, and then she can either be like, yeah, I'm interested, or no, I'm not. Like, we're human beings. Like, how would you like it if some woman just came up and they was like, let's be friends, and then all of a sudden was like, okay, where the sex?
yeah.
Well, they probably like that kind of person, but there you go.
Not necessarily, because it's like men are complicated beings too. I want to talk about. So I didn't really watch the Star Wars movies until my ex. It's just I knew of them. I had already seen. Like, I watched episodes 1 through 3 when they came out, and I really liked them. But to be honest, I had never seen 4 through 6. 5, 6. Yeah, I had never seen those yet. And then my ex showed me when we were in college, and I was like, oh yeah, I love this. And like, I really loved Han. I think my favorite character was Chewbacca. But as I got older, I would re-watch him, and I'm like, Han is such a rapey asshole.
He's gross.
Awful. And like, that's why when Solo came out, I love Solo because I'm like, oh, he's not a douche. Well, he's still.
He didn't start out a douche.
But he was, yeah, which is the weird part. It should be that. But it's because of the character and when it was written. I understand that. The difference in values from the older movies to the newer movies. Because, like, I think, this is my own personal opinion, but I think one of the reasons that Rey got so much hate from men on the internet was because she wasn't a commodity. She wasn't sexualized. It was just her. Like, she wasn't her. She was a scavenger.
She literally was exactly like the same as any other protagonist of a Star Wars movie. She just like showed up in her little like outfit that was like, it was form-fitting and cute, but it wasn't overly sexualized. And then she's like, the Force. And I didn't like that. I mean, that's literally what Luke did. He came up and he was like, the Force.
It was the same thing with Rose and whatever number.
Last Jedi.
Thank you. It's right.
Yeah,
that's one you love, right?
Yeah, I love them. Yeah. I love Force Awakens and Last Jedi. I like Rise of Skywalker.
But everybody, no one. I don't know why they hated her so much, and then in the last one they just kind of wrote her away. But
I hated the romance in the last one. Like, oh.
Yeah, but they took it out.
Yeah,
that fans are weird.
I didn't hate it.
It was okay.
The thing that I disliked the most is the reason that I don't like it is because it's unnecessary. Mm-hmm. Like Rise of Skywalker retconned my favorite parts of Rey. The fact that she was basically asexual. She's like, I'm just trying to freaking save the galaxy, or help save the galaxy. Second thing that I loved about her was that she was a nobody. She alone had these powers by herself. Like, there was no lineage. She didn't have any kind of reason. Like, Kylo Ren's just like, yeah, your parents were no one. Like, you are no one, but I can make you someone. And she's like, no thanks. Love it. Love that. And like, they retconned that. And I don't mind the romance part. I loved how they relied on each other. I loved when she healed him in the last, I don't know, there were a lot of parts that I really liked. And then she really did save him because by the end of Rise of Skywalker, he was Ben again. And I love that. Like, I love that part. I wish we had more scenes with Ben Solo, hopefully one day. But like, even like those movies were made in the late 2010s, right? Mm. And yet they still have a lot of problems because Finn, they like, I hate the fact, like, I love Force Awakens, but I think it's total bullshit that they framed like you were about to have your first black stormtrooper Jedi, and then they yanked under the, and like, it's like, did you have to do that to a person of color? Did you have to freaking do that? Like, do it to a freaking white man.
But what do you mean? What do you do?
So basically, and this is a big, like, it's a big point of contention online, but basically, Force Awakens, all of the promotional items and all of the billboards had Finn holding the lightsaber. You had Rey holding her staff, and then you had Kylo Ren holding his lightsaber, right? So, like, that was the kind of the 3 points of view from that movie. All of the promotional items, the entire time, we're like, oh, Finn is a Jedi, but he was a stormtrooper. Well, like, that's a big deal. And also, he's black. Like, holy crap, this is great. And then they literally did the bait and switch in the movie where, like, Finn just gets knocked down and he's in the snow, like, possibly dying. And then, Kylo reaches for the, Luke's lightsaber? Or was it Leia's? It's Leia's, isn't it? Or was it Anakin's?
It was originally Anakin's.
Anakin's, okay. Because the green one is Luke's, right? Yeah, okay.
So I think all of that kind of stemmed from behind the scenes stuff. Like, they had issues with the actor.
With John Boyega?
Yeah. I don't know a whole deal about it, but I'd heard rumors that, like, they kind of butted heads on something, so they basically yanked his part and like diminished him in the series.
Imagine that they had problems with the black actor.
Oh yeah.
So they blamed him. I'm not saying.
No, you're right. I know.
Let's punish him.
What does that sound like, Ray Fisher?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, at least they let Samuel L. Jackson like have his own color lightsaber. I mean, that was before Disney took over, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, come on, Disney. But like, also another big problem I had with Rise of Skywalker was Finn kept trying to talk to Rey. He's like, I have to tell you something. And if you remember, he never tells her what he wanted to say.
No, he never does. I don't know why. I don't know why that was a thing.
I think he was gonna tell her that he's force sensitive. Like that's my assumption. He's like, I think I'm also force sensitive, and like it was a whole thing. But like they're like, we don't have time for this. They really should have made 4 movies. This Rise of Skywalker is a hot mess. Like they should have made 4 movies.
So
100%.
Here's the thing with that. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6 was all you had the storyboards from Lucas. Lucas had them all written out. 7, 8, and 9, no one wrote them. So, and apparently none of the directors, Council of Geeks has a whole podcast about this, but apparently they re-released it, like I think last year, that they never had a plan. Like no one, like the 3 directors, originally there was 3 directors, they didn't get together and that's what they were going to do. So when the second one did his weird, let's run out of gas and space plot, they didn't know how to fix the third one. That's why they brought in the first director back in, because he wasn't even supposed to be part of it. So...
Right. Well,
so he tried to fix everything.
I would hesitate to say fix. Okay.
Or he thought he was fixing.
Because he did not fix anything. He fucked everything up. But like what I would have preferred to see was just, okay, give all 3 damn movies to JJ, because clearly he had his own thing going on. Like either that or stick with Colin Trevorrow's original script, because it was actually pretty damn good. Did y'all read it? It's called Duel of Fates. That's dope. It should have been Duel of Fates.
Bringing it back to Disney princesses and also Star Wars. Padme sucks. Padme's awesome until the end, where she dies of sadness.
Yeah. Oh my god, that hate.
What's that about? That's not even like who Padme was as a person.
I still can't
Padme
watch
would not
3.
die of sadness.
Oh my god. So mad at 3. I was in the parking lot screaming about how terrible 3 was, and I was so pissed. Still hate it. Still hate it.
Padme was an awesome character until she's like, I'm gonna be with Anakin, and we're all like, why? Why?
Especially if you watch the Clone Wars, which is like 10 seasons. I don't know how many seasons, but it's like so many freaking episodes. She's a kick-ass, character.
She's so cool.
And I'm like, no, she would not have. And then they changed the whole. They changed 6. How 6 ended because Luke asked Leia, "What did you think of Mom?" And that changes everything because you think Mom dies in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That pissed me off because I originally watched the movies as a kid.
Yeah.
So I was so mad.
How dare they make such a cool female character who is self-sufficient and awesome and does so many things on her own and is fabulous, knows how to dress, is a queen in her own right, and then they're like, oh, we're just gonna marry you to Anakin, who sucks, and and like make you die of sadness.
You
travesty.
You have something right there though, because it's once again taking a female character and then killing her off to create or to give the main
further the plot.
Well, it further the plot, and also, but I mean, particularly to change a man. Literally, the only reason he killed her off was so that Anakin would become frickin' Darth Vader. Because he could have just died. He was in parts. He could have just been like, I'm out. But he's like, no, I have to avenge her death by killing everyone in the... I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. But along those same lines, then now we've got more, we have The Mandalorian, let's go back a little. Star Wars Rebels, we have The Mandalorian, we have Boba Fett, and we have pretty cool female characters in these. I mean, like, Gina Carano obviously has a lot of issues outside of off screen, clearly. But the character was really cool and really interesting and was written in such a way that she's just a warrior. Like, she's like a person and a warrior. There's no underlying romance crap. It's just, hello, I am here. Which is impressive because Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian is incredibly sexy.
Mm-hmm.
He is. Even with his helmet on, he's still sexy somehow.
Another good one that they came out with between Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Batch.
Oh yeah,
That
Bad Batch,
is
yeah.
dope.
So who was my favorite character in Mandalorian that I said we need to talk about? Because she's the trifecta of, like, she's done the three.
Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah, she's Mulan. Yes, she's in Marvel, and yes, it's the S.H.I.E.L.D. part that not everybody, the TV show S.H.I.E.L.D., but she's freaking bad. She's a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and she's awesome in that. And then also she's what's her character? And
Fennec Shand.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
she's awesome. Like, I'm so sad when you think, okay, spoiler guys, sorry if you haven't seen it, but like you think she's gonna pass away, like she's gone, and then they bring her back. So that was really cool.
She's so dope too. She's so cool.
She's just so capable. It's
I heard
great.
it with the hairdresser person who was like, yeah, we did her hair and we decided to do it in these braids and stuff. We thought we're like, oh, we'll do an like this really complicated, because you're only here for like a day. We'll just do this really detailed thing. And they're like, oh, crap. Braids. And they're like, so it takes a little bit longer. They're like, damn it, we didn't get that memo.
And like, I don't know. I feel like I forgot her name. The mechanic played by, is it Amy Sedaris? Is it Amy Sedaris? You know what I'm talking about? The mechanic.
Talking about
I love her. I always forget her name.
Cool.
She's like, where's the kid? Give me the kid.
She's so fun, and like she's a good example. Another one. Like, there's a lot of women. Honestly, even Twi'lek, a club owner in Boba Fett. She's gorgeous and she like looks beautiful. She's a little bit older too, which I loved because you finally see an older lady looking.
He's somebody. I don't remember who he is.
I forgot too, but she's a great actress. I forgot her freaking name.
And let's not forget the person who plays the blacksmith,
Emily Swallow.
Yeah, from
the darkness.
Yeah, but she's
cool.
so I was like, I know that voice. Who is that voice? And you can't hear it. And I'm like, I know her voice. I know her voice. I was like, I had to look it up.
I had to look it up too, and I was like, oh my god!
Because I knew her voice, but we couldn't place it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
God, she's cool too. And like another good example. I think they're finally. You know what else helps? Probably women directors. Bryce Dallas Howard. Every time,
100%.
dude. Every time she does one, it's like the best of the series.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard.
Me too.
Yeah, awesome.
I love
He's
her so
great.
much.
But yeah, that's a lot of people's like, why didn't she direct all of Boba Fett? Like, because it was like when she came on, it's like we're like, oh, that was really good, and then it's like then you see her name go by.
Bryce Dallas Howard. You're like,
yeah.
Like, people give her crap for Jurassic World, like with the high heels, but she made a good argument. She said that, this woman is in heels all the time. It's all she has, and if she wears them all the time, she knows how to move in them. And she actually did the run. Like, I mean, if she had said all that and then didn't do the run from the T-Rex, then it wouldn't have as much weight. But she actually did the running in the heels. So I think, suck it.
And she I know like Bryce Dallas Howard told Colin Trevorrow, like she talked to the director and she's like, yeah, I think she should keep these because if you remember that the beginning of that movie, she's showing like a bunch of investors and like bigwigs the asset, like she's taking them around the park. So like she's actually doing like a really fancy business meeting that day. So it does make sense that she wouldn't have a pair of boots somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's not that hard of a stretch, but I appreciate it because it was funny because she like they critics kind of came down on her or that character, and I kind of laughed because I'm like, isn't it kind of subverting the trope though? Because she's running in heels. That's hard.
And then there was another female character in Mandalorian. That's from the Clone Wars. We can talk about her. But then there was also Katie's. They actually got that actress. voice.
Bo-Katan. That's who you. Yes. Yeah. The Mandalorian. Excuse me, a Mandalorian. Someone of Mandalore.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool, but we can definitely talk about I thought they picked a great actress to play her, and I thought that was
perfect.
And it was just like, oh my god, they got her, they got her on screen, and it was really cool to see who
portrayed her and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that because I haven't watched all of Clone Wars, but I knew of Bo-Katan and what's Obi-Wan's kind of love interest, not really, Satine.
I don't remember her, but yeah.
She's in the Clone Wars. So I like to see all of these because we have quite a few capable women characters in the animated series of so Clone Wars, Rebels. We've gotten really capable, awesome ladies in those shows that are gradually coming to the big screen, and I love what they're doing with them. They're they're keeping it. They're keeping those good qualities and bringing them forward, and I'm like, yes.
So we did the thing? Y'all think we did the thing?
Yeah, we did the thing.
Okay. So I think we made this uncomfortable world a little bit more comfortable.
So speaking of doing things, if you want to do a thing, you can send us episode ideas to our email. It's down below. Also down below is a link to our Facebook group. Please contact us on there, and then down below tell us what your favorite Disney movie was. We want to know in the comments below. Other than that, like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Just kidding. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.